Hey, cunts, don't forget to click the subscribe button.
Kept the rest. And I didn't tie up the intellectual property or the copyright. He started to use that public money and buy buildings for himself and his family. And then the government stepped in once they realised what he was doing. And because it was an election year and they didn't want this to hit the news, they did a behind the doors negotiation with him and said, look, we'll pay you out for the IP of all your programs and that. You get the hell out of the country, don't come back, shut your mouth. So they paid him about 120 million and he moved to Canada and took the literacy program we developed and took the IP. He left the program I developed because it was a Māori language and it wasn't going to get him any money over in Canada. That was the first lesson I learned. Well, I thought I learned a lesson. So I made someone a millionaire. And then along the way, I started to invest in real estate. In 2000, I had no money, no house, but I had an older brother that had a freehold house. And he went through the police force, customs, he ended up, a detective. And our customs detectives back home, like the detectives for the police, they deal with the internal drugs. So they chase weed. The customs, the detectives would chase the cocaine and everything that was being imported from the bikie gangs. And so he was all into that stuff. He used to kick doors in and stab. And I trusted him. So we went.
Is your brother?
Yes. And so we started to buy real estate together. Well, I was the knowledge because I went to the learning. He was the equity because he stayed in his job. I said, look, stay in your job, leave this to me. And he goes, yeah. And I was supposed to set up a trust, put our houses into a trust, but I was just too busy going out and buying. And so I bought us about 8 homes and was just on the brink of negotiating my first apartment block. And I discovered that my brother's gotten a shit, was heading towards bankruptcy, owned all the homes, so he sold them from under me.
Brother.
So yeah, I learned back then that even your family will.
Let me stop you there. And maybe it's because, he has an easy life. But I mean, where I come from, you're smarter than this. I mean, and the Mexicans aren't necessarily smart. But where I come from, you're smarter than, not just this, but several of the other stupid things you get, myself included. And I can only attribute it to one thing, my dad. Because my dad said, who was a cop, then the CIA, as we've talked about, and YouTube ad nauseum, Danny, everybody's an asshole. Sooner or later, they'll prove it to you. That was his mantra. Certain other people, Chinamen, black, that are different kind of assholes. Sooner or later, they'll prove it to you. That's how I was raised. The opposite, bullshit, And it saved me a lot of headaches. It saved me more heartaches than headaches. And you kids have, even the worst of you, had some sort of loving, nourishing, parental guidance. Some of you had less, and okay. I had none from my dad. From my mom, yes. But when I look at how did your program work out? Like I say, right? Being raised that everybody's an asshole, sooner or later, they'll prove it to you. Like the Ayatollah here, the fucking Persian pervert, the black wannabe King Kong, so whose program was better? I'm standing up here, look around, I don't mean this room, look around. I've been here 35 years. I haven't had to work in 35 years. His brother fucked him over, right? I mean, Ayatollah, somebody fucked him over. Somebody's currently fucking you over. I can go down the road. Ed, arguably you're the most sophisticated in the room. And that hasn't gotten you much, has it? No. But he had to think about it, didn't he? Okay? I can say no right away, because I know more about him than he shared. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Kids, I'm going to let you finish. But I mean, when Cain and Abel, since Cain and Abel, I forget who slew Cain. Did Cain slew Abel or vice versa? Okay. I would have been the Cain. Okay? All this nurturing shit doesn't work. And now it's more nurturing than it was 25, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Your parents probably were not raised like you. They had a harder life. And their parents, which are probably from the World War II, and now the UK is whinging about all this shit. They're going to cancel their Christmas. Who gives a fuck? We're here working on Christmas Day. And either you're smart enough not to whinge about it, or you don't give a shit, otherwise you wouldn't be here, right? You would rather make money in 2021. Well, what you learn here. But, I mean, it's perfect. I love the best is when a mother turns on a child. I mean, I get my nuts off. I mean, when Mary Kay Cosmetic, the founder, Mary Kay, turned on her boy, I had a permanent hard-on for 6 months. I've seen mother turn on child. I've seen children turn on mother. I've seen children turn on father, and I've seen brother turn on brother. If prayer worked, if religion worked, we wouldn't be in this motherfucking room. And who are the most religious? The poorest. And the Catholic Church has its hand so far up my ass, I'm surprised it's not coming out my mouth. They own me. And when you get out there, and when I tell you, I want you to rip their fucking heads off and shit down their neck, I mean it. And it's awful difficult to keep the shoulders when you got the head ripped off. It's awful difficult to keep, unless it's a little guy, like the Persian pervert, it's hard to keep it, and you gotta lean forward, and then the shit won't come out because your ass is puckered up. I mean, it ain't easy. It ain't easy. And I make sure you get all this, YouTube, you sorry cunts that are taking a fucking holiday off like the sorry pieces of shit that you are. Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I had to get that off my chest.
Yes,
Is your brother still alive?
Karma. I was angry. Fuck, I was angry. There were about 2 years I sat there and just contemplated driving home and smashing a hammer through his head. Because I started my business, I was sleeping in my office, doing 18-hour days. Longest I slept in my office was 2.5 weeks. And my wife at the time came and asked me to come home. I'd use my Christmas holidays to go in and refurb the houses and that, you know. Christmas Day, I was pulling carpets and he was back home on the beach. But anyway, fast forward to about 4 years ago, he had a car accident, pretty bad one. He was in coma for about 9 months.
And you pulled the plug?
No. Well, he's got daughters.
He's still hugging the tree.
Yeah, he's got daughters, but I raised one of them. And now she's the one that was at his side, paying for everything, so I was financially supporting her. He's been in rehab for about 2 years now. His head, he's like, and he can't walk.
No, you don't have to pull the plugs. The big man pulled the plug on him.
But I was, I remember I was still in my tree-hugging Zen phase. And so I was swallowing it, and I'd already set my club up. Remember, peace, love, mug beans. Don't go home and kill your brother. But the worst thing was my father was a wimp. And his upbringing, mum's upbringing, and the cultural aspect, like Mr. Peña, my Māori people, it was all about forgive, forget, and all that sort of bullshit. And so I had to swallow it, and I did. But again, I felt as though I was compromising myself. So Anyway, bygones be bygones. I picked myself up, and just as I was about to, the GFC hit. So I moved out of Hamilton, moved the business. Wife and I moved to Auckland, and by then I cut the group. We were successful, and as we were in the height of our success, I cut it because I discovered that if you're a Zen warrior, the more you do for people, the more they'll demand, and they'll fuck you over and treat you like shit. Familiarity.
No good deed goes unpunished. No good deed goes unpunished. I learned that from the Greeks at Onassis. Smartest words ever told to me by Constantine Gratsos. But I like Ed, his sister killed her father. I like that story too. We'll get into that one tomorrow. But see, now, we have just scraped the surface. When I say we're fucked up, and this isn't on, I'm not exaggerating, am I? And we still got 4 of the most fucked up people to talk to. And I haven't forgotten you. You know? Believe me. I can't wait to hear the Persian pervert story. How his grandfather's here, you know, and all that shit. Kids, I mean, but in spite of this, all these tales of woe, I mean, it's our market. It just is. It's fucking our market. And we got the 3 Nazis here that are going to go and rip healthcare. I'm going to write Andres, he'll watch. I'm going to write Andres an email. Don't worry about the 3 Nazis, Andres. You know, you got a foothold already. Some of the people in the UK, is the market not overbought, but too many QLA guys? The answer is no. Because even the melon heads on YouTube won't pull the trigger. And one of the reasons I stopped all the comments on my YouTube, and we got banned from, what's the other one? Cat? We got banned by Twitter now? Yeah. Oh, Facebook, yeah. Is because they say the same thing over and over again. Everybody's got an opinion, but nobody takes action. So after 10 years of, and I don't really read it, I mean, people in the staff read, so now we have no comments. So now they say, don't you want to hear what we have to say? No! I couldn't give a shit less. And I hurt their feelings now. Because I never read them anyway, but now they can't make them. A Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all that shit. Tonight will be a little different dinner. We're going to finish up tomorrow with the real, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3. Okay. We got a few left, and I hope they're real good sob stories. I want, I haven't cried yet. I want a real fucking tearjerker melodrama soap opera. We're going to finish off in style with them tomorrow morning. And then we're going to get back to the cases. And you've gone around and we've gotten your names, who you did the cases and who you didn't. We're going to go through every fucking case. Every fucking case. Now, any questions from anybody? Oh, your Christmas gift. Where are the Christmas gifts? Oh, in your room. No, we're back to ties. We're back to ties. No, that's a Christmas gift. No, you can keep yours. All the rest we'll take back and clean. Okay? Now, Sally's gotten each one of you got 3 gifts. A couple of exceptions. Okay, the Persian pervert and the black guy we didn't get any gifts. But other than that, we treat everybody the same. I feel good about when I'm working over the holidays. But this is not dissimilar. I wasn't doing this years ago when we were doing deals. But we certainly, and believe me, when you're doing deals on Christmas Day, the professionals aren't smiling and laughing and having a good time. They're not. They look depressed because they know the shit they're going to get when they get home. And who are they going to get their shit from? Their wives? the kids are more understanding than the wives. The kids are more understanding than the wives. Until the kids reach a certain age. When they're this big, oh, we love you, Daddy, we love you, Dad. Why weren't you here, Daddy? Why are we celebrating? And then they're not there at Christmas. But I don't want to, that's a thankless job. I'm hoping that my grandkids treat me better. Any questions before we break? Don't you have any black man questions? Okay. Okay, now, guys, okay, we'll see you at dinner. Thank you.